Try to initiate release sequencer. On my mark. 5.
We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
2. 1. Mark.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mark, a.k.a. Derringer. Today is Sunday, July 7th, and you are listening to episode 216 of the Instant Action Podcast, your weekly source for Planetside news and information. As always, I'm brought to you by great listeners like you via the Support the Show tab on instantactionpodcast.com. So I hope you all had a good 4th of July. I hope you guys, in America at least, had some good cookouts, fireworks, etc. I do the same thing every year. I go to the parade in my town, and then they always have a little fair going on the quad of the local college as well, and then there's fireworks at night. It's a good time. It's my hometown does 4th of July very good. They have a fireworks display that rivals Boston's fireworks display every year. Certainly it's not as good as Boston's, I understand that, but my town is pretty darn good, I do have to say, in Massachusetts. I did also take pretty hefty advantage of that quad XP that was going on. I didn't play as much as I wanted to play, but I did get maybe a good 2-hour session in the middle of the afternoon. I think I banged out levels 95 and 96 on my Vanu, and you guys know the later levels are some of the harder ones to finish off, and being able to do 2 in a couple hours. Stacking those summer ribbons, the summer repair ribbons on top of quad XP, just disgusting at times. So again, I hope you guys all took care of that as well and had time to play on the 4th of July and got to eat up some of that awesome quad XP on the PC. But enough about me. I'm actually, I know I said July 7th. I'm actually recording this episode on the 5th because my wife and I are going away on vacation tomorrow, Saturday. So I decided to record this early. It'll still be up Monday. You'll be able to listen to it then. So certainly don't worry at all. It will be up. But again, we're going away on vacation, so I will be playing no Planetside 2 next week, although I am scheduled to play in one of the next community smashes. I'm going to be playing with Bax on July 13th, so I will hopefully get some Planetside 2 in before next week's show. But enough about me. What's in store for this week's show? Well, first I have that July 2nd PC Hotfix and all its 4th of July PC goodness to talk about, followed by the current elephant in the room, and that's the PS4 and their 4th of July event, or lack thereof. After that, I want to give the Voidwell website run by Lampjaw a shout out because there's been some updates to that. And then I'm going to finish this week talking about bringing a criminal to justice. So strap in as we hot drop into another episode of the Instant Action Podcast. So first up this week is that July 2nd PC-only hotfix. The biggest thing in there, obviously, is that Independence Day celebration. They got that patch put in place so that starting on July 4th, which, as I'm recording on Friday, that was yesterday, starting at 12 a.m. Pacific, it was quad XP for all PC players. Also, from July 4th through July 7th, so you do have a few days, you'll find limited event items both in your inventory and the depot. Also, the Light Assault has been gifted the Freedom Thrusters. Those are the max rank skirmish jump jets with red, white, and blue particle effects. And that's going for the duration of the event, so it sounds like through July 7th. Also, the flare guns, both the Patriot and the Triumph variants. Also, the Patriot camo. There isn't one for NSO currently. And also, new Conglomerate players can find the limited Nomad Eye light assault armor in stock as well. And again, you're going to have a few days to actually take care of those things. Actually, if you're listening to this on Monday, you'll have missed out on all those different things. So I guess if you're a Patreon member and are going to be able to listen to this early, you'll know to get in there before the 7th, before all that stuff goes away. In fact, once I'm done recording, I better log in and make sure I have everything I want on all my characters. In addition to that, though, there were some other miscellaneous changes, fixes, and additions, and I did talk about a lot of these last week as they were on PTS, but a lot of them are now on live. So the first one is they fixed the issue where pressing the insert key while on the warp gate wouldn't send you to a spawn near your squad leader as intended. Obviously, the insert key sends you to wherever your squad leader is. This was happening to me nonstop. It was annoying as hell. You'd hit insert, and instead of being sent there, you would actually just appear in the exact same warp gate again as if you had not gone anywhere. That has been fixed. It has been fixed on live. I'm not having that issue anymore. Next, vehicles owned by players who log out no longer explode. Next, stabilizing regions no longer show as cut off for a period of time and instead stabilize as expected. Next, you should no longer hear erroneous error sounds when you're in a vehicle. Next, they added the speculative fix to prevent players from spawning directly into locked continents on login. That didn't happen to me at all, but that certainly was an interesting one. After that, NSO characters in allied Sunder or Cloak modules should now be hidden correctly. I guess they were kind of standing out and you'd see them. Next, NSO characters now properly receive alert and event rewards. I haven't played my NSO character since this gone live, so I'm just going to take that as it stands. Next, NSO characters also should receive proper credit for harasser Top Gun kills. That's an especially important one with one of the current directives to get vehicle kills while in a vehicle. Next, reaching the cert reset prompt at BR15 no longer shows a corrupted image. After that, they added a new bundle in the depot available during the summer event, and that bundle contains quite a few things, actually. First up, it costs normally 6,588 certs. I'm getting a discount as a member, so it's down to 2,249. But you're getting the Shifting Sands camo, you're getting the Orbital Strike uplink, you're getting the M60G Bulldog, you're getting the Pelter Rocket Pod, you're getting a 7-day squad experience boost, you're getting the Bulldog. It looks like both Bulldogs for the Galaxy, a left and a right. You're also getting the L105 Zephyr, and that's on the Liberator. And then you're also getting the M60G Bulldogs. These are the front and back Bulldogs for your Sunderer. And then finally, you're getting the L100 Python Heat, high explosive anti-tank weapon for the Lightning. The first one, the MG60 Bulldog that I mentioned, that's also for the Ant. And the Pelter Rocket Pod is obviously for the Valkyrie itself. So that's called the Summer Splash Bundle, if I didn't say that already. I can't remember. I'm sorry. I was alt-tabbing back and forth in-game to make sure I got everything that's in there. So you get quite a few different weapons, and all those weapons that you're unlocking there, if you're paying Daybreak cash for them, they're available across all your accounts. Not all your accounts, but all your factions. So if you have a character on all three factions, those are just standard weapons, NS weapons, that you're going to unlock across your entire account. So if you don't have any, especially if you're a newer player in Planetside 2, that's a pretty good deal on that. I mean, granted, it's $22, $20 and change, $23, $24, whatever, without membership. It's a bit of money, but you're also giving yourself quite a few different ways to play vehicles within Planetside 2 by picking up that new bundle during the summer event. But I'm not going to keep shilling for Planetside 2 on this. If it has a bunch of weapons that you don't have, go ahead and buy it. And finally, there is one known issue still going on, and that's the maximum pressure event still is not triggering naturally. This is the one where you need to get whichever faction gets the most kills, and also maxes are free during this event. It's still not triggering off. I expect that that's going to be a high priority item come next week. Because if I had to take a guess, I'm sure most of the folks over at Daybreak Games probably had Friday off. They had the 4th of July off, obviously. A lot of them probably had Friday off as well, looking at a 4-day weekend for them. So I wouldn't expect a lot out of them over the weekend, and definitely not Friday. Friday's over. They haven't been able to fix it yet. I would expect that would be a high priority thing come Monday morning. Next up, there were some changes to the thumper in this hotfix as well. And like I said last week, they felt that it was tuned very conservatively in the first update because they didn't want it to be too overpowered in the game itself. And then after letting players use it for a little while, they decided to remove the leg shot damage reduction from it. They also allowed it to be usable as an ASP secondary weapon, and I can say that that is confirmed. I logged in on my NC character and was able to throw it in my secondary weapon slot, and it felt perfect there. Also, the thumper now shoots projectiles from the eyes like other weapons when you're aiming down sight. They also fixed an issue where it wouldn't drop the movement speed penalty when reloading while aiming down sights. And finally, there are a couple smaller issues that still need to be addressed with the aim down sights mode, namely that HUD icons don't dim while aiming down sights and that quick melee doesn't pull players out of iron sights. But those are things that they're aware of and will be fixing. Next, they made some changes to the attachments themselves, and they're really pushing them to distinguish them differently from one another. So first up, the automatic trigger. Its rate of fire increase went from 10% to 20%. Also, its minimum cone of fire penalty went from 25% up to 40%. The launch accelerator reduces the minimum cone of fire now by 20%. And finally, the lightweight materials attachment now also reduces the movement speed penalty for aiming down sights by 50%. Next, they made some changes to the ammo themselves. And first, the fragmentation ammo, which is the default ammo that you get. Its direct damage is now 250, its indirect maximum is 350, and its indirect minimum is 100. It got pretty much a boost, a buff across the board on the amount of damage that was doing. The disruptor ammo, this is the one that depletes energy in shields. Its direct damage was also increased to 250. Its indirect was increased to 100. Indirect minimum was increased to 100. Its energy depletion was doubled to 20%, and its shield depletion was increased from 50 to 125. So as you can see, it's knocking out a lot more energy, and it's reducing players' shields a lot more, making the disruptor ammo a little more competitive. I'm still using the next one, incendiary ammo, pretty much the most. Its direct damage also got increased to 250, its indirect maximum to 150, its indirect minimum to 100. Its burning damage per second, though, was halved down to 50, and the burning damage duration was also reduced down to 3 seconds. But now the burning effect should stack. I am seeing players saying that the burning effect is not stacking, so hopefully that's something that the devs will come back to and fix as well. So there is the entire PC hotfix. Again, biggest thing in there was quad XP, and I certainly took full advantage of that, and I hope you other PC players as well did also. But let's move on to topic number 2. And that second topic, like I said at the beginning, is kind of the elephant in the room right now. And that's, without going, beating around the bush, if you play Planetside 2 on the PS4, you know that you did not get the quad XP. And I know a lot of people asked about that on Twitter and Reddit and stuff like that. And there was an official response from the Planetside 2 Twitter account that did say the quad XP event was for PC players only. And that even though that's the case, there is some good news coming for PS4 players. And of course, we have to speculate that this is the long-awaited patch that they're supposed to get that should introduce, DirectX 11 stuff. And God, I can't even imagine. Let's see what got added to PC that they should be getting. So the PS4 folks haven't gotten an update since March 29th. Oh, God, that's so long ago. So, I mean, they're missing the April 20... They're missing the NSO players, period. You know, they haven't been able to play the robots and stuff like that. What else have they missed? God, they missed the 16th anniversary. I know they didn't get any of that stuff in-game. I mean, that isn't necessarily a huge game update or anything. But clearly the DirectX 11 stuff is more important. They missed out on the May 30th game update, which had all those map screen and continent flow changes, plus the spawn system changes and stuff like that. So they don't even have the new spawn system in game yet. They missed, obviously, the June 26th one that just came out, which brought so they didn't even have the summer event. They don't have the thumper. They don't have the new alerts or anything like that. So there's clearly a lot of stuff that the PS4 folks are missing out on in Planetside 2. So clearly that's what the devs are kind of hinting at, or I shouldn't say the devs, because I don't know who... I can speculate who's running the Planetside 2 Twitter account, but I don't want to make that assumption. But they're saying that something is coming quickly in the pipeline for PS4 players of Planetside 2. Does that mean that it's coming this week? We don't know. I would imagine it's going to be coming before the end of the month in July. That's kind of what they seem to indicate, or at least that's the way it reads to me. But I know a lot of you PS4 players feel that not getting the quad XP was an extremely large slap in the face, and I gotta call it like it is, that it feels like such a huge oversight that the devs could have thrown you guys the smallest carrot to keep you interested in the game or something like that. And I feel like they really fell short not getting that quad XP in for you guys for a single day. And yeah, I understand that the argument from the dev side is that it's not simple to put a update in on the PS4 like it is on the PC, because obviously they control their servers, whereas they've got to push the update through Sony in order for it to get out to you guys. But still, not being able to give you guys a quad XP event should be something simple, and I wouldn't blame PS4 players if they quit playing the game over something as simple as that. Again, I feel like the devs kind of dropped the ball on this one, and I wish they had gotten at least this small, I said it before, a small carrot, just one small token of appreciation to keep PS4 players interested in Planetside 2. I know from reading the PS4 subreddit that not many people are playing the game on the PS4 at all right now. And for this to be left out and not given to you guys, it is a huge slap in the face. It does you guys a disservice for any money that you're spending on the game and the time that you're spending playing the game as well. I also know the devs, and I don't feel that they did this with any malice, but I still feel that it's kind of shitty, really, and there's not much else that I can say about that. So, PS4 folks, again, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you just said screw this and left and didn't come back, but I hope that many of you would still stick around and continue to be patient as the next game update comes for you guys, because again, it sounds like it's coming this month, and I know obviously the last time you got an update was in March, and it's been 3 months since then that you've seen any changes on the PS4 side of the game, and that's certainly an awfully long time, and I know PC players wouldn't stand for anything like that, but I don't want to continue to beat a dead horse. I think PS4 not getting the 4 XP sucked. And that's kind of the way it is. All right, moving on to topic number 3. I wanted to talk about this because I don't know that a lot of players actually know that this site exists. I know most people, I think, probably use the Fizzu site or the Planetside players site to look up player stats and stuff like that. But I do know that Lampjaw runs a website called voidwell.com, and it's actually something that we use in B-Way a lot to track the last hour's worth of stats when we're doing ops, so that Shades can tell which players outperformed other players in the game during ops. And it's a useful tool. It actually pushes me to be the best engineer that I possibly can for B-Way, even though I'm still in L-Way. And maybe someday I'll graduate to B-Way. But again, we're using the stats on voidwell.com for something like this. And I don't think that a lot of people know that this site exists. But more than anything, Lampjaw added a new activity tab under each of the listed servers under their server status page. And it's actually cool. If you haven't checked out voidwell.com, you should. Again, it's voidwell.com. And if you go under the Planetside 2 tab on the left-hand side and you click on the server status tab, and then you go down to your particular server, I'll choose Emerald, for example, right now. First of all, I see that there are 1,015 players online right now. I can see that Indar and Amarish are both unlocked. And then if I click on the activity tab, I can see that on Amarish right now, there is a Dome Domination event going on, which is pretty cool. And I can see how many players are in it right now for the event that this has been going on. Or I'm sorry, I can see the population of the entire server at this point. I can see statistics for each of the different factions, including the NS faction. So Nanite Systems operatives are also included, so kudos to Lampjaw for that. We can see total kills, deaths, headshots, team kills, suicides. Team kills, yeah, NC's definitely leading in team kills. Suicides, vehicle kills. You can see the average KDR of the entire faction, of each faction, showing that NS players actually have a KDR of 1.08 right now. That's not bad. It also shows the headshot ratio for each of the factions as well. But then it actually goes down into the classes, and all three factions are present. It doesn't have the NSOs, though. I'm surprised. But it has all 6 different classes, including the max. Kills, deaths, TKs, suicides, vehicle kills, KDR, and headshot ratio for each of them, and separated out by each faction, which I think is cool as well. So I can see right now that it looks like TR Infiltrators have the best headshot ratio right now at 45.4%. Good job on you guys. It looks like NC Heavy Assaults have the most kills. They have 3,032 kills right now. Good for them. But yeah, no interest, and they have I can also see that NCA Maxes have the least amount of kills at only 226. Vanu has at least double that. That's pretty interesting. And then it actually goes into a section of top players. And yeah, there's some interesting stuff in here. Grat Guy's dead. TR, you're number 1 as I'm looking at it right now. Good on you. But again, it shows some of the top players based on score per minute and kills, deaths, a whole bunch of other different stuff to get that information in there. It also lists the top outfits. It looks like 4AS, that's the 420 AS Grabbers Battalion, is doing the best right now, followed right behind by Bax, Black Arrows. It also shows the top weapons and top vehicles. Right now the Gauss-Saw is the top weapon. I'm surprised. Usually it's the Anchor. It shows a Lightning right now is the top vehicle being used, followed by the Harasser, followed by the Reaver. Pretty cool. And then my favorite area is the experience section down at the bottom. And this has the heals, the revives, the road kills, squad beacon kills, and it lists all the players that are doing the best in those particular categories. Again, that's where we pull a lot of the information for saying how well our outfit is doing during a particular ops night. Again, I just wanted to give Lampjaw a shout out because it's a very well done site. And if you're looking for stats and stuff like that for players in Planetside 2, and ultimately he'll get Planetside Arena there as well coming soon, you should check out Voidwell. I like it. You should like it too. So kudos to you, Lampjaw. Keep up the good work. But with that, let's move on to our fourth and final topic this week before we move on to email. And I teased at the beginning of the show, this is the topic where we talk about a hardened criminal being brought to justice. And I guess you're wondering, most of you probably know exactly what this is, but the Daybreak Games DDoS attacker was recently sentenced to 2 years in prison. So his name is Austin Thompson, and he's going to be behind bars for 2 years. They just announced this last Tuesday, which is pretty awesome. This dude's only 23. He pled guilty. The official charge he pled to was damage to a protected computer. And this was in connection with the attacks in late 2013 against then Sony Online Entertainment, so not just Planetside 2, but all the SOE stuff. And he was part of the group Derp Trolling, and they were behind the denial of service attacks for SOE games, plus BattleNet, League of Legends, and also Dota 2. I'm just happy to report that he is actually going to prison for this, because I think he should go to prison for this. Also, he was ordered to pay $95,000 in restitution to Daybreak Games. If they divvy that up amongst all their different IPs, and let's just say for the sake of argument, there's 4, Planetside 2, Planetside Arena, EverQuest, and that's the whole EverQuest franchise, and what's the last one I'm forgetting? DC Universe, that's what I'm forgetting. DC Universe, but I guess maybe I should include H1Z1 as well. So if he's got if he owes $95,000, we'll divide it 5 ways. $19,000 could potentially be going to Planetside 2. So, hey, maybe a few of you Planetside PS4 players don't need to renew your membership, since Planetside 2 is going to be getting a little money from this. I kid. But again, I just thought it was good that they could finally get one of these assholes who was doing the DDoS shit way back in 2013, 2014, and actually put some teeth into stopping people from doing shit like this. Now, the good news is I haven't heard of a lot of other DDoS attacks been going on recently. These seem like they were something that was being done a lot back in 13, 14, and clearly that was back when Planetside 2 was a much newer game at that particular time. But I'm glad to see that someone finally is paying for the crimes that they committed against my favorite game, Planetside 2. So good on the courts for doing this, and Austin Thompson, I hope your time in jail sucks. With that, let's move on to housekeeping this week.
Housekeeping. Housekeeping.
Come back later, please.
Housekeeping.
Not now.
Housekeeping.
Go away.
I coming anyway?
All right, I did get one message this week, and it was from Tom Shift, and he writes, I decided to leave you a message because it seemed sad no one left you a message. Thank you, Tom Shift. I appreciate that. And he goes on to say, so what are your thoughts on Planetside Arena being so silent? It's supposed to release this summer, but no one has talked about it. I'm personally a bit worried. Well, yes, no one is really talking about it at all. Do I think nothing is happening with Planetside Arena? I mean, personally, I can say that is furthest from the truth, because when I was at Daybreak Games inside their studios, I saw the Planetside Arena section, and I saw all those people hard at work on Planetside Arena. Granted, I didn't go and talk with them, or I didn't look over their shoulders to see what exactly they're working on. I didn't sift through their trash to try and find a release date or anything like that. But I can say, just from walking through their areas, that they are still working on Planetside Arena. And I think that there will be some news regarding Planetside Arena coming out soon. And I know everybody says soon, TM, because we don't know exactly when we're going to hear about Planetside Arena. The good news is summer goes from technically Friday, June 21st. This is in the Northern Hemisphere. and ends on Monday, September 23rd. So at this point, they have until September 23rd in order to release Planetside Arena. And I mean, I know if you think about it that way, you've got basically 3 months still that we could be getting some news about Planetside Arena. So I will tell you right now, Tom Shift, don't get worried. I know that it's still being worked on. And that's about all that I can say about it, unfortunately. I did sign an NDA after all. All right. That is going to be it for this week's show. But as always, how can you get in touch with me or the show itself? Your first stop should be my website, www.instantactionpodcast.com. You can email me at instantactionshow@gmail.com. You can also call me and leave me a voicemail at 347-4VM-4PS2, or those digits are 347-486-4772. And finally, please follow the show on Twitter at InstActPodcast. In closing, if you've enjoyed the show, please leave me a review on your podcast listening avenue of choice, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or anywhere else. Also, feel free to tell your friends and outfit mates about the show. But finally, thanks for listening, and keep spamming that Join Combat, formerly known as Instant Action button. Derringer out.
Dant 4435.
How dare you?